Nothing is better than chocolate. Chocolate remains an important food in our daily life. But have you ever wondered when the first chocolate bar was made? Where was chocolate first discovered? Who is behind this great invention? Let's find out about one of the most popular food types and flavors in the world. When most of us hear the word chocolate, it conjures up images of bars, coated candies, cakes, but the chocolate of today is little like the chocolate of the past. Throughout much of its history, chocolate was a revered but bitter beverage, not a sweet edible treat, but more on that later. Let's start by looking at the globe. Millions of years ago, the Theobroma cacao tree originated in the upper Amazon basin region. Theobroma comes from ancient Greek and translates as food of the gods. Later, it was to be called the cacao tree or chocolate tree. The cacao tree is a tropical tree. It grows best in hot and humid regions of the world. For this reason, the cacao tree can only be grown near the equator. Cacao trees bloom in an unusual way. Tiny flowers grow in clusters directly from the trunk and large branches. They are pollinated by tiny flies called midges. Then the trees bear large pods similar in shape to a papaya. When cacao pods ripen, they are cut open. Each pod contains an average of 20 to 40 cream-colored cacao beans. The origins of chocolate date back some 4,000 years ago to ancient Mesoamerica. It's here that the first cacao plants were found. The first people who tasted the fruits of the unusual tree were representatives of the ancient Olmec civilization. They called the cacao tree by the ridiculous-sounding word cacava. Cacao beans were dried in the open sun. During the drying process, the beans assumed their brown to dark brown color. The Olmecs then ground the beans into powder. Then the powder was mixed with hot boiling water, cornmeal and spices. The result was a thick, bitter, foamy drink. In place of Olmecs came the Maya, and the cacao tree became the classic cult tree for this ancient tribe. The Maya were so fond of chocolate that they not only gathered cacao beans in the forests, but also learned to grow these trees in their gardens. Mayan chocolate was thick and frothy and often mixed with hot water and chili peppers. The Mayans, who considered cacao a gift from the gods, used chocolate for sacred ceremonies and funeral offerings. They held a yearly festival to honor the cacao god Ekchuar. As people of the Aztec Empire spread across Mesoamerica in the 1400s, they too began to prize cacao. They believed that cacao came from the gods on their holy mountain. A feathered serpent god, called Quetzalcoatl, was believed to have gifted the divine being to humans. Since the Aztecs couldn't grow it in the dry highlands of central Mexico, they traded with the Mayans for the beans. The Aztecs used them as currency to buy food and other goods. A single bean could fetch you an avocado, while 4 beans could be traded for a pumpkin and 10 beans for a healthy rabbit. It was a time when money literally grew on trees. Aztec chocolate was a revered brew made of roasted and ground cacao seeds mixed with spices. The Aztecs poured this mixture from one pot into another, creating a thick, foamy beverage called chocolatl, meaning bitter water. The Aztecs held chocolate in great reverence, using it at marriage ceremonies and also giving the drink to victorious warriors after battles and using it during religious rituals. It's rumored that the powerful Aztec ruler Montezuma II drank 50 cups of chocolate a day for energy and as an aphrodisiac. He kept a storage room full of beans acquired through trade, tax, and military conquests. Christopher Columbus and his crew may have been the first Europeans to have come across cacao beans, but missed the opportunity to enter the history of chocolate. In 1502, he discovered cacao beans after intercepting a trade ship on a journey to America. Columbus brought the cacao beans he seized back to Europe, but their potential value was initially overlooked by the Spanish king and his court. In 1519, the notorious conquistador Hernán Cortés traveled to Mesoamerica to establish Spanish colonies. Montezuma, mistaking the invader for the reincarnation of a deity, welcomed him with a banquet, where drinking chocolate was served. When Cortés first tasted it, he was absolutely revolted and claimed that it was swill for pigs. After the Spanish conquest of the Aztecs, Cortés returned to Spain and brought back chests full of cacao beans. Their bitter taste prompted them to be initially used as a medicine and recommended for stomach aches, indigestion, coughs and fever. So European palates made their own varieties of hot chocolate with cane sugar, cinnamon and other common spices and flavorings. This made it absolutely delicious. By the 17th century, the chocolate mania spread throughout Europe, first to Italy and then to other European countries where chocolate remained the preserve of the wealthy. But producing chocolate on an industrial scale was still difficult and expensive. Scores of African slaves and indentured labor were shipped to cacao plantations in South America to do the backbreaking work. For almost 2 centuries, nothing interesting happened in the history of chocolate. Chocolate was enjoyed as a beverage, and milk was often added instead of water. Things started changing in 1828, when Dutch chemist Conrad van Houten invented the cocoa press, which could separate the cocoa butter from cocoa beans and create separate cocoa powder and cocoa fat. The introduction of cocoa powder made creating chocolate drinks much easier, and cocoa fat helped make chocolate affordable to everyone. In 1847, British chocolatier Joseph Fry created the first chocolate bar from cocoa butter, cocoa powder and sugar. He poured this mixture in molds, and voila, the chocolate bar was born. In 1861, Richard Cadbury created the very first heart-shaped box of chocolates for Valentine's Day. The popularity of the boxes has only grown over the years. In 1875, Swiss chocolatier Daniel Peter utilized powdered milk to produce the first milk chocolate bar. From the invention of milk chocolate sprang the industry we're most familiar with today. This is how chocolate evolved from a bitter beverage to the solid treat we eat today. By the 20th century, chocolate was a widely consumed treat enjoyed by people of all classes. During the Second World War, chocolate was provided to the military in the rations, and it was issued to pilots and submariners. How is chocolate made today? Harvest is gathered twice a year. Beans are placed in large boxes or just in heaps, then are covered with banana leaves and left to ferment. The fermentation process gives flavor to the beans, and the pulp slowly liquefies. The beans are then dried in order to reduce moisture content. Then they are packed to be sent to chocolate factories. When dried beans are received at the factory, they are roasted in large rotating ovens, which brings out their flavor and aroma. After roasting, the beans are winnowed to remove the shells from around the bean, leaving only the roasted cocoa nib. The nibs are then ground into a paste called chocolate liquor, and this can now be used directly in the production of chocolate bars. Incidentally, there are 4 types of chocolate: dark, milk, white, and ruby. The latter is made from a special bean, known as the ruby cocoa bean. Acquiring a pink hue during the manufacturing process, This chocolate tastes sour-sweet and berry-like. Easter has been associated with the chocolate tradition for centuries. Chocolate is a great gift that people can give to their loved ones on Valentine's Day. Christmas without chocolates just doesn't seem right. And of course, you'll never want to celebrate your birthday without a chocolate birthday cake. The US National Confectioners Association lists 4 primary chocolate holidays in their calendar. There are several chocolate museums in the world and only 2 monuments. One, commonly known as Chocolate Fairy, represents a chocolate fairy with a sweet bar in her hand, and the second looks like a bitten chocolate bar. Just about everyone around the globe is a fan of chocolate. It is the most popular sweet treat in the world. No holiday, festival or even party is complete without it. 1 bar of chocolate is enough to make any child feel the happiest. Well, now you know chocolate has come a long way to reach you. I hope you enjoyed our video. How do you feel about chocolate? Or do you perhaps have another favorite treat? Be sure to write about it in the comments.